As always on Mojo, we endeavor to bring you truly inspirational people, and our guest tonight is no different. He has been gracious enough to postpone his flight out of the country to spend more time with us on Mojo, for which, of course, we are truly, truly grateful. He is an internationally renowned boxing icon, a preacher, a father, a husband, an entrepreneur, and so much more. It gives me great pleasure to meet and greet the legendary George Foreman. Mr. Foreman, can I call you that George?
Just don't call me too late for dinner. I don't mind. George is good for me.
That George. Because that George is like a term of endearment here.
Oh.
It's like a father figure, a term of endearment, basically.
Thank you.
Yes, I mean, when I look at your career, I look at your life, I look at your biography, and it's truly inspirational stuff. I've got to ask myself that as a young man growing up in Marshall, Texas, did you envisage yourself being the icon, the living legend that you are today?
It's strange. Marshall, Texas, where I was born, was as far away in the sticks and countryside as you can imagine. We moved instantly to Houston, Texas, which is the big major city to get, my parents could get jobs. Of course, my mother got a job. Father broke up. So there I am in no time flat on my own, not even dreaming of success, just dreaming of trying to find a decent meal. So you just don't think things are going to happen in the fashion in which they've done.
And as is often the case, growing up in an underprivileged community, young men gravitate towards crime and that sort of activity. And in actual fact, if I'm understanding correctly, you found yourself in the world of crime.
Yeah, you got to understand, and when you're poor, you generally, there are two doors. One that'll lead you to striving to fix a community, and the other will lead you into the road to destroy communities. I went in the latter. I was a juvenile delinquent, and it wasn't long before I was roaming the street as a mugger, a teenage thug, alcoholic, and just trying to get in trouble.
And what was the turnaround? I mean, at which point did your life turn around?
I would always run away from school. I didn't want to go to school, and once a cousin caught me making truants, not going to school, and I tried to give an excuse as I was about to go to sleep, and this cousin told me, go to bed. You're not going to become anything anyway. No one in this family ever becomes anything. And it shook me up. I got so upset at my cousin, I almost went to school. But anyway, it wasn't no time flat, but I was out there robbing people, and one night trying to hide from the police and their dogs, I climbed, and so the dogs couldn't find me and smell me. I covered myself. I saw a sewage burst head to toe so the dogs couldn't smell me, and I heard my cousin's voice saying, no one in this family ever become anything. That day, I was about 16. I decided I would never steal anything from anyone. I'm not a thief. I just didn't know. I was ignorant that I was doing wrong. That changed my life.
You ended up in a home for juvenile offenders.
Yeah, the Job Corps was a program started by the government, anti-poverty program, give you a chance to get an education, learn a vocation. I heard it from a famous athlete about it. So you're looking for a second chance, join the Job Corps. I did. That was my chance to get an education and get a vocational training. And by the way, I learned to box in the evening.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And in '68, you found yourself in Mexico City, Olympic gold. Was it Chisopolis that you beat?
Yeah, I told some fellas one year I was a bully, and they said, "Look, if you think you're so tough, why don't you become a boxer?"
Jump into the ring.
And I went out just to show them that I wasn't afraid. And I had, within a year, I was on an Olympic team. And in '68, I actually won a gold medal. Shocked, surprised. I haven't gotten over that yet.
Take us through that moment. I mean, you were 18, I believe, at the time, yes?
19 years old in the Olympics. I'd only had 25 fights totally as an amateur. My 25th boxing match was the Olympic match. I won the thing. I was shocked. I remember bringing out my American flag.
I remember the bow.
Yeah. I said, I got to show them where I'm from. Because you forget about people, how we look when you go to the Olympics. The only thing that distinguishes you are your colors. And so, after I won the medal, on the platform, you hear your national anthem in the background. They put the gold medal around your neck. And I heard my cousin saying, I told you. I said, must be something. They're playing the national anthem. And that was my chance to go on from there.
Yeah. What do you think made you win?
There were a lot of people who believed in me, a lot of people. Of course, I didn't even believe I could get a gold medal, but I met Doc Brodus, my original boxing coach, and the teachers in the Job Corps centers who always told me, George, if you stop being a thug, fighting in the streets, you can do something with your life. You can be an Olympic champion. They made me believe in myself. It's the people that you associate with, adults, seniors who never gave up on me.
And the times, I mean, you guys lived in quite tumultuous times. You had the NAACP, which was very active at the time, Martin Luther King, the Watts riots of '65, and just like racial tension in general.
America is a very young country and started off crawling. Then what did you call these baby strollers? And we were in the midst of a lot of growing up in our country, and I enjoyed it. I was a part of it. But that's why I want to distinguish myself with that small American flag. I was so happy to show the world that I was an American. Winning that gold medal meant, hey, you're on your way to distinguish yourself, not just a thug anymore, but a true, bona fide citizen who can make a contribution.
Yes. I've always been fascinated with the sport. Maybe because I'm a woman. I've just struggled to get, to understand the psychology behind boxing. What goes through your mind before?
You sit in your dressing room and you think, I've got a box. I got to get out there and beat this guy. And if I don't, he's going to beat me. Then you say, I changed my mind. I'm not going out there. And then a manager or a trainer jumps up and says, let's go. And you say, well, okay. The next thing you know, you're in the boxing ring and you think, what am I doing here? Then the guy starts throwing punches at you.
Then you know exactly what you're doing there.
That's why I'm here. And with me, fights wouldn't last that long. I'd win by knockout.
During the first 2 rounds, yeah.
And always in the dressing room, I would say, this is the last time I'll ever do this. But then you win a match and they're patting you on your shoulder and you're getting cheers and trophies and you say, maybe I'll try it again. Then back to the same thing. I'll never do this again. That's what goes through your mind.
And in '71, you turned pro.
Yeah. In
what was the
'69, I had my first professional boxing match. Oh, these years are getting farther and further away, But I had my first professional boxing match. I didn't want to be a boxer, but everyone kept telling me, you're an Olympic gold medalist. You can be heavyweight champ of the world. You can be...
Did you believe that at the time when people saying that about
rich? Yeah, that'll ring a bell. But you never believed these things could happen. But I met people who believed in me. Once again, another trainer, Dick Sattler. He showed me how to box. He said, look, I can't offer you money to be a professional, but I'll show you a skill and a profession. You'll be able to make your money. I'll teach you. And he did. He gave me a good profession in boxing.
Now, take us through the 1973, January '73, smoking Joe Frazier.
Now, I really didn't think I could beat Joe Frazier. I told you about you staring people down, and if they drop their head, you know you've defeated them mentally.
He didn't drop
But this night, I was hoping that Joe Frazier wouldn't drop his head, because if he did, he'd see my knees shaking. I was afraid. You hit him, and he liked it.
Yeah.
You miss him, and he'd get upset.
You knocked him down 6 times.
Yeah, I was so afraid. It was like cornering a cat. I had to do something. And that fight was over. I was heavyweight champ of the world. That's when I really started to believe that I could really hit and beat people, that I was the best in the world.
Yeah. But how do you deal with fear when you're in the ring? Because I'm sure that could really lead to your downfall if you're in that state of mind.
Well, I think fear is a necessity in anything that you do. If you don't have a little fear, then that's when you can get yourself in trouble. I learned later on to manage my fear. I was so afraid. I remember thinking, if I'm going to be so frightened like this every time I get in the ring, I'm just going to have to quit. Then the one moment I had, 1974, Zaire, Africa. I'm going to fight Muhammad Ali. I got in the ring, no fear at all. For the first time, I said, I can do this. I don't have any fear.
You were doing it for the first few rounds. You were doing it.
Yeah, but I should have taken my fear along with me.
That was your first defeat, was it?
Yes, and of course after Joe Frazier, I'd beaten a couple of other people in defense of my title, and I thought I had the most powerful hands in the world. If I didn't beat you with my eyes, I could beat you with my fist. I wanted to destroy people's lives. I was trying to take lives. That's all I wanted to do. Muhammad Ali, I heard him say once, George Foreman, he's not skillful. He can't box. All he's trying to do is kill people. And I remember thinking, how did he know that? I thought I was the only one that knew that. He was training to box me. I was training to kill him. Like I said, I got in the ring without any fear, and the next thing you know, I'm in the fight of my life. I beat him up for the first round, and I beat him up the second round. I really beat him up the fourth and the fifth. And about the seventh, I'd hit him in the side. Boom! I said, I got him now. And he fell on my face, and I heard him say, "That all you got, George?" And I'm thinking, how do I get out of here? That was about all I had. And he knocked me down. I remember falling to the canvas thinking, this cannot be happening.
Because he was on the ropes at the time.
Yeah, I was really giving it to him good. And there I'm on the canvas, and you hear the referee counting 1, 2. This is your life he's counting now. When I jump up, I'm a changed man. I've lost the most dearest thing in my life, the heavyweight championship of the world.
What went through your mind?
Devastation. To lose, because that's who I was. When people walk by me, they get nervous or excited or happy. Then, after that fight, they'd walk past me with pity. It's going to be all right, champ. I didn't want to come outside. I didn't want to face people. You lose something like that, you forget that you have a real life. You think that's your life. And, of course, in 1976, I made a good comeback, and I was beaten up in the ring by a fellow by the name of Ron Lyle. Yes. He hit me so hard it didn't even hurt. There I am on the canvas. I'm on the canvas, and he's standing over me, and I'm thinking, what excuses can I offer this time? What am I going to tell them now? I had to get up, and he knocked me down again. Finally, after about 5 rounds, he beat me so bad, he fainted. And I won the fight. I won the fight. I walked out as a victor, but I got my self-esteem back. Yeah. For the first time, I was the skeleton of Muhammad Ali, and that defeat disappeared. From then on, I told you I could have gotten up, and so I was able to live with myself a little better. That was my redemption in the boxing area.
After the break, we speak more to George Foreman about his charismatic spiritual awakening. He's still got mojo.
Jesus Christ is coming alive in me. Easy, champ, easy. You'll win another boxing match. I don't care about a boxing match. Jesus Christ is coming alive in me. I'm going to save the world.
Experience the future with Futronic. Home theater systems feature integrated DVD, amplifiers and tuners in one package. A full range of speakers, integrated or standalone multi-format playback DVD. One brand gives you all of this today with quality, value and support to match. Futronic. Experience the future.
Experience the unbeatable. Get the Futronic DVA 105 home theater system for $1,799. Save $400 at OK Furniture, where no one beats our prices this Christmas.
Castlelight, the one to have when you're having more than one.
People's dreams definitely can come true within 3 days if Mina now we believe in them. So this week on Zola 7.
My name is Adam Connor.
I feel Zuguti. Isikolo sakhe ill-disciplined. Yonke into is just going wrong.
Yes, go back to 76 and toy.
I don't know what the students and the teachers in the community and parents will think of me.
You are going to suffer the consequences.
Zolis, Zoo 7. So I'm tuned. 8:30 Molwesine, SABC 1. Yamambela.
You took a leave of absence from boxing from 1977, I think it was, after the...
Yeah, for 10 years.
The Jimmy Young fight.
Yeah.
And you're quoted as saying that Jesus Christ visited you in your dressing room. What was that experience about?
Yeah, 1977, I was a popular. I've lost the title. I'm a mean man. I want to be heavyweight champ of the world. And I really, truly believe that people with religion, Bibles, were people who had suffered something in their lives and they just couldn't compensate, so they fall back on religion just to feel good. Everyone I'd met with Bibles were weak people in my business. I'd bypass a boxer and I see a Bible, I say, he's a scary coward, I'll knock him out. And I was rich and famous. I didn't need religion. I didn't believe in it. I fought Jimmy Young, and this would be a title. If I won this boxing match, it would be an elimination bout. I'd be champion of the world. Proved to the world, though, that I could go 12 rounds. And I didn't even try to knock him out. I lost the decision. He won a decision, but I felt like I'd shown the world that I could go 12 rounds. I waited around in Puerto Rico that night. He won the fight. It was so hot. All I needed was to get in my dressing room and cool off. The hottest night of my life, and I tried to cool off as I'd always done, cooling off. And right in my thoughts, I heard, well, you're George Foreman. You're still famous. You have money. You're in the movies. You could retire right now and go to your ranch and die. I said, die? How did that get in there?
I wasn't part of the program.
I said, I'm not going. I got all kind of things to live. I'm rich. I'm famous. I got a ranch. I could retire right now. Who cares about boxing? I could retire right now and die. The voice answered me back, I don't want your money. I want you. I said, that's not anyone I know. Turning down money. I was fighting for my life. And I tried to keep it going so no one in the dressing room could see me, because people look at you, they think, hey, he's just tired. But I'm trying to keep my life in me. I don't want to die. I don't want to be in a funeral. I hadn't said goodbye to my mother, my kids, and I'm in a dirty old dressing room. I have mansions in the United States. I'm in Puerto Rico in a dirty old dressing room that doesn't even have an air conditioner. I'm about to die. So then I thought about that. This must be God. So I said, look, the voice said, you believe in God. Why are you scared to die? I said, I believe in you, God, but not enough before I could say die. In a split second, I was gone. Over my head, I was in a dump yard. I was dead. Over my head, under my feet, all around me was nothing but sorrow and nothing. And I could look around, and this is like a dump yard of every sad thought you've ever had in your life. And I got mad like I'd been anywhere. I said, I don't care if this is death. I still believe there's a God. When I said that, a gigantic hand reached in and pulled me out of nothing. I was back alive in that dressing room. Blood was flowing through my veins. Evidently, I had been picked up off the canvas. So they laid me down. And so my doctor standing behind me, I said, move your hand, doc. I saw blood coming down my forehead. I said, move your hand. He's bleeding where they crucified him. He looked at me. My masseur was holding my hand. I said, move your hand, Mr. Fuller. He's bleeding where they crucified him. And I started screaming, Jesus Christ is coming alive in me. Easy, champ, easy. You will win another boxing match. I don't care about a boxing match. Jesus Christ is coming alive in me. I'm going to save the world. Now, I guess they say, you're going to have to put on some clothes first. You're not going out that door. 8 men held me down that night, and I could hear this voice far away saying, I come to my friends, they don't understand me. I come to my brothers, they don't believe me. And the voice said, now I go to my Father, which is in heaven. I said, don't let Jesus go. For the moment, I'd heard that when you become famous and rich, you're going to feel something. Heavyweight champion of the world. That night, I felt everything I'd been waiting for, but it disappeared. Then the voice left me. And I told them in the room, I said, you've witnessed a miracle and you'll never believe it.
Did you?
By this time, they're strapping me down in an ambulance. They said, yeah, right. They took me to an intensive care. I was alive, but I was dead, and I smelled death. And one thing about once this happened, you're never afraid of death anymore. You don't want to die, but I thought, this is not going to last. I'm going to be dead forever. That changed my life. I was never able to box again. From 77 through 87, I never even made a fist. I was scared.
You spoke of drive early on. I mean, one could argue that you have reached the pinnacle of your career and achieved the kinds of successes that we all dream and aspire to achieve. What more is there for you to achieve?
I'm just happy with my life. I'm not trying to hold. I just want to be the same guy tomorrow that I am today. I'm happy with that. Success for me now is just waking up and being the nicest human being that you could ever meet. And if I find someone nicer, I got to go back to the drawing board. So success is measured in the way it used to be for me, winning the title and all of that. I just want to be the same guy tomorrow that I am today. That's success.
What life skills do you think that, youth out there need to have that have helped you in your life to achieve what you've achieved?
Mostly, you just got to constant on children, young people, to keep dreaming. That's a skill. To have an ambition, have some ambition one day and wake up no matter what and still have it. You may wake up in prison, keep dreaming. You may wake up on dope, don't say I quit, keep dreaming. It doesn't matter what happened, don't lose your ambition. And that's what happened to some children. Some of us decide, oh, it's all over for me. It's never over. And then you try to tell people, adults, mothers and fathers, your child has not done anything that you can just turn your back on them. They can still, if they can dream, you can still make them try to dream.
After the break, we speak to Dad George about George, and his 5 daughters. Don't go away, you're still on Mojo.
what was really important to me as a baby. I wanted to be loved, and my mother truly loved me. I'd forgotten about I had been loved.
Watch New Zealand take on Australia and England against France. The Rugby World Cup 2003 action brought to you by SABC Sport, live on SABC2. Tonight on That's So Raven.
I don't know. Is it supposed to be just sweet and chewy?
I like sweet chewy.
Now, see, Tanya, I'm worried. I don't know if my cake is moist and luscious enough for Corey.
Let Corey be.
I feel like a small person in a big world.
I feels ukuthi isikolo sakhe si-ill-disciplined, yonke into is just going wrong. 8:30 ngolwesine, SABC1, eyamambela.
George, you were from quite a large family. I understand there were 5 other siblings besides yourself. And you currently have, sorry, you can correct me, am I?
No, that's pretty close. 5 and 7, that's not much. There were 7 of us. I'm number 5 of 7 kids.
Right. And your existing family, it comprises 10 kids.
Yeah, we have 10 children, 5 daughters, of course. People know about my famous boys because we all have the same name, George Edward Foreman. People ask me, why would you name all your boys the same thing? Well, if you have Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, Kenny Norton, Michael Moore hitting on your head, you're not going to remember much. Round 2. So I named them all to make preparation for memory loss.
But how do they know who you're referring to?
Believe me, they understand. Especially with my wife. One get in trouble, she started using the middle name. You know who it is. We give them nicknames, of course, but I wanted those guys. When you look around and you can't find roots, plant something. Doesn't matter who you are, where you've come from, it's where you're going in life. Give them something to hold on to. I tell them now, if one gets in trouble, we are all in trouble. One celebrate, we all celebrate.
You're quite passionate about youth as well. I understand you've got a George Foreman Youth Center. Could you tell us a little bit more about what?
Yeah, my brother Roy and I started the George Foreman Youth Center in Houston, Texas. I left boxing and becoming a minister, a preacher. I preach on the street corners all the time. But I look up on Sunday and the children weren't there. No young people were coming to church. And they were out there robbing and stealing just like I had done when I was young. And I decided I had to do something. So we started the youth center in Houston so the kids could stop by and we could be a part of their lives. All I'm there for is to be there so they can know that someone cares about them. They come in, show out for me. Put on a show. You looking, George? Basketball, boxing, football, whatever you want, computer training. And I pay attention to children so that I can give back some of what has been given to me.
I understand you went back to the town of your birth, Marshall, Texas, and bought a ranch there. Now, when you're on your ranch cooling in hindsight and you look at your lifeline, what are the things, memories, high points, low points, things that stand out the most?
I love the countryside. If I'm around a horse or a cow or even chickens, I'm happy. I am a country boy. I was brought up in the city, but I had no idea that I would really love the country. And when I'm there, it's the only time that I can truly relax. You get out there in the field with horses, and they don't consider you a celebrity. They'll kick you. You out there with the cattle, and they'll just charge you. It brings you back to reality. So I love to just reflect on what life is really about.
You do a recon of your life. What have you learned about yourself?
I've learned most about myself when I look back on my life. What was really important to me as a baby, I wanted to be loved, and my mother truly loved me. I'd forgotten about I had been loved. Now I realize I was always loved, I just didn't know it. I thought for years, since my mother, nobody loves me, like the blues singer. Nobody loves me but my mother, and she could be lying too. You live through years like that. Now I realize people were always there, and they always loved me. I just didn't know that. Now, in case I forget it, in return, I go love people.
And do you feel the love? I mean, you gotta...
Oh, I feel everybody loved me. It's like you're my best friend. You would give me your last dime, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I would.
I feel like I've met you, and if I was broke, you would just help me out. That's the way I feel about people now.
Yeah. Where do you believe that we go after we leave this realm, when we pass on?
I know one thing. I intend to be here for over 100 years, so I'm not in any rush to find out. I don't think anyone should be in a rush to leave out of this life. Try to find the best life we can right here on this earth. There are a lot of things to do. There are pizzas to be served. There are ice cream sundaes. I mean, there's enough to dwell on with this life.
Yes.
Sunshine. And I haven't even seen Cape Town yet.
Yeah. Which you must.
I have no wants or desires to die.
No, you can't.
Until I see Cape Town.
Not until you've traveled South Africa. You cannot.
So I'm not looking for anything on the other side. I got to see these things.
Right here, man.
Right here.
Wow.
Brilliant. Truly inspirational stuff.
It's been wonderful having you. Quite a crew on our side.
I kept thinking my kids are going to get scholarships. I bought them a nice sweatsuit. They come home, not a drop of sweat on it. Smell good. What's wrong here? Totally hooked on education. And I had one daughter to pursue boxing, and she was real good. The genes got mixed up there.
Really?
But she's done with it now. But if they would go out and do it on their own and be successful, I would help them later on. But I would encourage them to do anything.